welcome to CFC Fan TV. I'm delighted to be joined by the one and only Ben Rebuck, back on the channel after far too long. Thank you so much for coming on again.
Cheers for having me.
And him, the Hurricane. He's back with a vengeance. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you? You okay?
Yeah, all good. Before I start this video, I have a couple of things to ask you. Two things, in fact. Firstly, will you please drop a subscribe to this channel right now? And secondly, the World Cup. I just want to know how you're feeling about it. Do you want us to be covering that? Do you want to see our reactions to stuff? Do you want us to treat that the way we would Chelsea and like follow England? Or are you not so interested? We only want to do it if you're interested. So, yeah, let us know in the comments below. Right, time to start this video, and there has been some massive news dropping around Stamford Bridge. Charlie, what's been going on?
It is huge news, and I don't want anyone to underestimate what huge news this is. This whole £1 billion project, this new Stamford Bridge, this whole thing that our club's future was hinging upon, it's dead. It's not happening.
For now, or...
Indefinitely, it's not happening. I mean, the club released a very, very short, quite confusing statement on Thursday afternoon saying the plans that they've been working the best part of 2 years on in terms of getting permission for the ground, and you know we're talking about the prime real estate in the world, it's dead because they're calling it the investment conditions. But what this really is Abramovich has not been granted a UK visa. The renewal of his UK visa, which permits him to work and carry out business in this country, has not been renewed. So he has gone, well, no. I'm not going to put all this money into the country.
Yeah, you can't really blame somebody for not wanting to pour £1 billion into a country that doesn't even want to have him as a citizen, can you?
Yeah, I mean, technically, he's not even allowed to be our owner working in this country at the minute, which is bizarre, really. I mean, he is obviously still in charge, but at the minute, it's so up in the air, and it's a real bizarre...
And he's had to adopt Israeli citizenship, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's also a strange one. He's sort of gone over there, got his passport, and now I think
became the richest man in Israel?
Yeah, just overnight. But I think now he has to reapply for a UK visa, which apparently is much easier with an Israeli citizenship than... Because, you know, the Russian relations right now. I don't know if it's going to be kind of, you know, pushed through because of, you know, the fact that he wasn't issued one because of the money dealings, the whole Salisbury scandal, all those things that, you know, not so interesting to do with football, but, you know, they affect us now, don't they? They affect us on a grand scale. And
what I don't understand, and somebody, in fact, may be able to help me with this one. I know the YouTube won't be able to. Why he's been in the country for over 10 years. I don't understand why he can't just apply for citizenship anyway. Like, my mate's Japanese. After 10 years, he just got citizenship. It's not one for you two, but...
No, it's to do with what Ben just said. It's the current political relations with Russia.
Right.
They're no good at the minute. And although Ben's right, it might be that this visa happens in September or October or whatever. It's not really the point. It's the point that they're not making him feel welcome. He's worth £7 billion. He's not then going to devote 1/7 of that wealth into building contracts and staff and industry and a legacy in terms of regenerating. You know, it's proposed to be one of the finest sporting arenas in Europe, into a city and a country which, at the minute, is making him feel so unwelcome. He was not allowed to watch Chelsea at the cup final because of this situation.
Yeah, that sounds disgraceful, doesn't it?
It is. Well,
I mean, without knowing...
That's the only reason he wasn't at Wembley, in Block 506, like next to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, is there a way of rescuing this situation? Can you see a light at the end of this tunnel?
It's going to be interesting because I think, as Charlie said, you know, so much of the club, what they were building towards was this new stadium, and, you know, they'd outlined it, they'd built models, they brought fans in to see it, and, you know, they were really proud of what was happening.
It was really exciting. I went to go and see it. I mean, by the end, I wasn't a huge fan of the new design, but like, I remember going into... I think it was in the West. I actually saw Abramovich there. It was wicked. Yeah. They had all the models out and all the drawings of what it was going to be like, and he was there milling about. He didn't really care that I was there.
No.
But
much like when we played football at Stamford Bridge the other day.
He did.
Right in front of where Charlie was playing. I was off at the time. Charlie was playing. Abramovich was watching. Abramovich has watched Charlie play football.
That's why he's not bothered about getting
Has he given you a call yet?
Yeah. No, I'm on airplane mode at the minute. He's probably trying to get through because we're on camera. But yeah, I mean, the whole project as it stands is dead.
And how do you feel about that? Are you disappointed, devastated, happy?
Certainly not devastated. I mean, as a match-going fan, in terms of my experience going to the match, I'm very happy actually, because I didn't really see the need for Chelsea to have a 60,000 seat stadium, because frankly, our
support base,
but our Huddersfield in the cup game, that's not getting full. That's not full.
No.
By any stretch of imagination. I thought the ratio, even though the capacity was getting so much bigger, the ratio of actual, normal tickets was so much lower.
Yes, I've seen that as well. There was only going to be like an additional 600 to 700 new season ticket holders.
Yeah, which is ludicrous. There was going to be less away fans than there is at the current Stamford Bridge.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm never going to sit there, but that creates a trend where there's less away fans everywhere, and that creates atmosphere.
The way that the atmosphere is going at Stamford Bridge, I think that the lifeblood of any atmosphere in any stadium is actually the away fans.
Yeah, of course it is.
The louder the away fans are, the louder the home fans will always be.
It's a cycle.
And for that reason, if I had any say over this, I would actually promote, in order to generate a better atmosphere at Stamford Bridge, I would prioritise the away support.
Yeah.
Where possible, give Arsenal 5,000 tickets. Obviously, liaise with the police, make sure that it's possible. But if there were 5,000 Arsenal fans in that stadium every week...
Every week?
No, 5,000 away fans in that...
Watching Chelsea West Brom.
5,000 away...
Sorry,
5,000 away fans in that stadium every week. The noise generated from that ground would be an awful lot more.
It would be better, but I think it would kind of... I don't want to dig out, our support, but it would show us, our home support compared to our away support is not great.
But the way to improve...
But no one's...
We're going down a different thread here,
Yeah.
but I think the way to improve home support is by encouraging away support to flourish.
I think what we need to do is build like that stand in Russia that they've done for the World Cup.
Yeah, just
outside
stick out.
Put one on the roof. Put the away fans double Z at
the
the
geezer
back.
up the top's in Knightsbridge, like looking at binoculars.
But keeping on trend here,
but yes,
as interesting as this is, as a fan, as a match going fan, I feel like you. I'm quite pleased. I was dreading. I was so upset at the prospect of going to Wembley for 4 years.
Oh.
I actually thought that it could crucify the club. I actually felt like the club's support could be really badly affected for years to come off the back of going to Wembley.
I know a lot of people who go to every match and when you always get the empty threats, don't you? People in the pub, I ain't going.
Yeah.
But I do genuinely think that would have been a trend. People that have season tickets now go to every game at Stamford Bridge.
Well, people hate Wembley at the best
Not
of times.
taking up
People
to
hate Wembley when you've just lifted a trophy there.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, Wembley, it's fine to get there, but there's no good pubs around there.
Terrible.
It's in the middle. I mean, we're going from the King's Road. This is the heart of nice London, really. That's the only way to describe it. To go to Wembley, which is it's a dump around there, and the stadium's soulless. To get there is there's nowhere to drink. There's no pre-match experience there, and they might try to build fan parks and all that nonsense.
People aren't interested in that.
No, people don't care.
People don't care.
I think from the club's point of view, though, it is a worrying situation. Not in terms of this project not getting done, but in terms of what other clubs are doing. So even though Tottenham Stadium looks like it's been delayed, that's a lot bigger. Arsenal is obviously a lot bigger. West Ham's a lot bigger.
How relevant is it?
I think it's an image thing. It's a sponsor thing. It's a revenue thing, not in terms of, like my ticket, but in terms of the corporate
level,
ticket.
Yeah.
And that's why the ratio of this new proposed stadium. That's why there was club band and club silver band and club gold band. Those were all where the tickets were because that's where they can make the money. And I think we're going to have the 10th biggest stadium in England, probably even lower down that pecking order, which for a club of Chelsea's size,
but if you look,
is frankly not like, if you're talking about an image sponsor's term of view, that's not good enough.
But when you
and
say
the fourth biggest in London.
When you say that, you compared it to West Ham, to Arsenal, to Tottenham. If you look at the money that we get from Nike, from Yokohama, from whoever else is on their sleeve, it's double what they're all getting.
Yeah, quite right. But that situation is very much in our favour, and if they stay at 40,000 capacity, or whatever it is,
So you think it's a status thing? You think the reason that we need to improve is down to status, not necessarily down to actual mathematics?
I'm just trying to give the club's point of view. As I said, as a match-going fan, I think it's great. I love Stamford Bridge. It's where I grew up.
But you think it could be
football.
detrimental to us financially?
I think Chelsea will be... I think the reason Chelsea was so desperate to do it in the first place is because they need to make a statement. They need to have one of the defining arenas of football. It's what it's all about. They want to have Champions League finals played there. It's all about the brand, and it's all about getting the maximum revenue from the ground that they can. In fairness, I do actually feel a little bit for Chelsea in this regard, because we're in a completely unique situation in that we are on the Fulham Road.
Yeah.
We're in southwest London. We're in the best part, or we're in the most expensive part of the most expensive city in the world, pretty much. Tottenham nuking half of Tottenham High Road does not matter. Everton nuking half of Albert Docks and putting a huge stadium on there doesn't matter. Chelsea moving you know, 30 degrees. You're blocking some fella's house who's worth about 78 billion quid, and he can't like see the trees anymore.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
And we're, you know,
I feel sorry for Abramovich. I think it's very sad. I know that he's not your everyday individual, but I do think it's very sad when an individual of any kind left out to dry by a political situation of which he has no, like, Abramovich isn't an elected member of parliament. He has no say over this.
No, his I'm not going to talk about this too much because
we might get knocked off. And say anything.
Well, no, and also I don't
Especially
and also I don't really know what I'm talking about. So no, but you know, he's very well known to have ties to Putin. And all that, which will not have worked.
But what I mean is
that
the reason that this all came about was due to a political situation and a terrible situation that happened in Shrewsbury. No.
Yeah,
Shrewsbury.
Cutting that out.
Yeah, do you know where the restaurant was?
Yeah, it was Aziz's.
Yeah, don't go there.
It was Aziz's. Mate, we're gonna have to cut loads of this out.
I think the more interesting thing and the more worrying thing, and the bigger ramifications for this is if this situation does not get better. Is this the end of Roman Abramovich at Chelsea? Because those are the questions that people are asking today.
No, it might be, but I think, you know, everyone for years, these banter accounts, they all used to say the same thing. Like, you know, you saw it today, like, oh, this is the oil money's out and Chelsea are done. But
are you Piers Morgan, wasn't it?
All those idiots like that. But are you seriously telling me that if Chelsea Football Club becomes available, that someone bigger, richer and more Middle Eastern than Roman Abramovich is not going to come and buy the club? Of course they are.
Yeah.
Because you've got clubs like Shrewsbury and Colchester and Billericay all getting bought out. You know, they're attractive outfits for people with money. This is Chelsea FC, and we are the best club in England. That's a fact.
And do you know what? As much as I'm incredibly grateful to everything that Abramovich has done, but what's happened with PSG, what's happened with Manchester City, the money that's been injected into those clubs has passed us by a bit.
Yeah, no, it has. But, you know, we were the real instigators of this modern football.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think we have to take that all with a pinch of salt and say, look, you know, Abramovich, he's been a loyal servant to the club. He's never really looked like there's never been anything, I guess, as close to this in the sense that maybe he might actually call it a day. No, I don't think he will, because I still think he's got the passion for it. He still goes to the games. He still has a lot of interest in it. And it would be a shame to see him go, because I think he's done so much for it.
We're all so massively grateful to Roman Abramovich. So, yeah, it would be.
Absolutely.
It would be a shame, and it would be a seismic change in the club. But I agree with you. I mean, look.
I don't think from the day-to-day, from a fan's point of view, it's not going to change much because, as I say, someone with more money...
We've got to be in the 10 most prestigious clubs to own in the world.
Easily.
We're not getting bought for £1 and going down to Division 2.
Again, not anymore. No, absolutely. Thank you both so much. That was really enlightening at parts. If you could be any more enlightening, please get in the comments. We're all going to be in there. We're all going to be in there reading the comments. And, give us your thoughts on how this situation is going to resolve. Go on, you Blues.